welcome back to another video. So today is the video that y'all have been waiting for. This is the final showdown between all of the budget pencils that I have tested in the Amazon printed books. I do have all of these videos that are in this series in a playlist, and I'll make sure that's linked above. I have done 4 videos so far in this series, and this is the last one. Now, in one of those videos, I did test 2 pastel sets. I am not counting those 2 pastel sets because I feel like those should be in a category just all of their own. So if you want to, you can go ahead and watch that video and see which one performed better. I put the Brutfuner macarons up against the Kalour pastel tints. But so far in all of these videos, I have tested the Kalour 180 in the red box, the Brutfuner square pencils, the Arteza pencils, the Black Widows. Those were all in the first video. Then in the second video in this series, I tested the Crayolas, the Kalour, and the Mark Arts. In the third video, which you should have just seen not too long ago, I put the Spirfarbens up against the Kalour pencils in the 240 set, which are these here. So this is the final video, and in this video we're putting each one of those budget-friendly sets that performed to the best in each one of the previous videos right up against one another so that we can see how they perform and which one performs the absolute best on the paper in the Amazon printed books. In this video, we're going to test the Kalour 240 set, the Kalour, the original set, and the Brutfuner squares. If you check the description box down below, you will find links down there to my Facebook group, my Etsy shop, and my Patreon if you would like to support me there. I now also have channel membership. You can find more information out about that by clicking the join button down below. So I do have Fall Friends by Deborah Muller. Again, I've used this book in every one of the videos in this series. I've colored leaves, I've colored pumpkins, and this book is just really fitting for this time of year, so we're going to stick to this book. I have a couple leaves down here, and we're just going to pick and choose some of the things on this page to color, and so we can see how the pencils perform right up against one another. Now, I have already chosen some colors, so I've chosen my colors from the Kalour 240 set already. And in this video, I am really putting these to the test because I chose some colors from each one of the sets that are in the same color families. And then I also chose another color that is out of that color family because I want to test it and see if we can come back and layer another color right over the top, because we all know with colored pencils that is very, very important. You want to be able to layer colors down. You want to be able to lay the darker colors on top of the lighter colors, and even sometimes the lighter colors right back on top of the darker colors to add a little bit more pop or to create a little bit more depth and dimension on any of the objects on your coloring pages. Okay, so I think we're going to start with this leaf here, and the first ones we're going to test are the Kalour, and I chose some really pretty shades of green. I thought we could sort of go back to green leaves, and then we're going to try to apply reds and oranges on top of our greens and see how they perform. So we're going to end up with some leaves that sort of just look like they are right in the middle of the fall transition where the leaves are just starting to change colors. So the colors I have for the Kalour are leaf green light, leaf green middle, Prussian green, and oxide of chrome. And I'm just going to go ahead and fill in a section of this leaf here. Okay, so I have my lightest color laid down in parts of this leaf here. I'm going to try to stay to this side and see what we can do here. So now I'm coming in with my next color, and this is leaf green middle, and I'm going to try to lay this color right over that other color, and they are blending together nicely. If you saw the first video, you know that these do go down very nicely on the paper, but this video is very important because we're going to see which one performs the absolute best. But the colors are blending into one another really, really nicely. Now I'm going to come in with my next color. This is the Prussian green, and we're going to start adding in some of this color and just layer it right over some of these other colors. And look how nice these are going down on the paper. I'm pulling it up a little bit into my highlighted area. And remember, this is just the first layer, and so a lot of times we'll lay down the first layer with these budget sets and they'll seem like they're going down really, really nicely, and then as we continue to lay the colors down, that sort of changes just a little bit, but we're going to see what happens. Let's lay a little bit right over here since we have this sunflower laying here right on top of our leaf. So we'll have a little bit less highlights here in this part of the leaf. And I've not yet used my darkest color. I am only on my first layer of all of these colors. So I guess if you count the layers, we're on maybe 3 layers now, but not all the way up into the center section. So now I'm laying down my darkest color, and it's still laying down really nicely over the top of these other colors. The paper is handling them very nicely as well. So in the sections where we've got quite a few layers, I think we're at 4 layers now where we've got all the colors layered over one another. These Castle Arts, like most pencils, seem to perform better once you get quite a bit of the color down on the paper, because then the color starts to move around just a little bit more. Now I have the leaf green middle, and we're going to go over these areas here and pull some of this brighter color up into the lighter areas. This is, I think, my 5th layer. I don't know. Y'all know I always lose count. But I think this is my 5th layer in the areas where I've got a lot of my darker colors, and it's still blending in really nicely in those areas. Okay, so now I have my lightest color, and this color is so pretty. This one was Leaf Green Light, and this is what's going to give our leaf quite a bit of a pop and really make our colors stand out. And I'm just using this color to blend all of the other colors in. Now let's see if we could come back with our darkest color, which is the Oxide of Chrome, and see if we can get even more color down here. But look at that, y'all. That color is laying down right on top of the other colors, and the paper's not being resistant at all yet. And the whole reason I'm doing these videos is because I know that the Amazon paper does get a lot of hate in the coloring community, but I feel like these videos are so important because some of these artists, this is one of the only ways that we could support them so that they can keep creating coloring books for us so that we can have beautiful artwork to color. Not all of the artists that have books on Amazon have Etsy shops. Deborah Muller does. She has an Etsy shop if you don't want to color on the Amazon paper. But if you know which budget sets work best on the Amazon paper, it makes it much easier to just pick up a couple books from Amazon that are printed on this paper and one budget set, and know that you are going to be happy with the way that they perform and what you're able to create with them. But look how pretty that is. And I don't have a problem with this paper at all. I actually really kind of like it, and I've always colored in the Amazon printed books. You can still get quite a few layers down on this paper, and Prismacolors work beautifully on this paper, but I know so many of us love our budget sets and being able to get all of the colors that are offered in all of these different sets. We all just want all of the colors. But I have gotten quite a few layers down here already now, and I'm able to just keep coming back and applying this color, and the paper is still taking it. So these Castle Arts do work really well on this paper. You could get all these layers down here. The color blends together absolutely beautifully. You can get all that depth and dimension and create something absolutely beautiful. Let me just come back one more time with my highlight color and really burnish these colors out. But look how pretty that is. Now, like I said, the real test here is going to be to see if we can come back with another color and layer it right over the top in some of these areas. And I thought it would be really cool to do that and grab some reds and some oranges. Here I have Indian red, and I'm going to see if I could just layer this color right over the top in some places. And I thought this was just also really fitting for the fall time because our leaves look like they're transitioning. We'll end up with some leaves that have green in them and some yellows, and then we'll have that pop of red in there. But I'm going to come in here and see if I can just add this red right over the top, and look at that. How cool is that? It just layered right over the top, and it just added all that much more depth and dimension. And I love using reds with greens. And then you can come back with your greens and you can just layer it right over those colors and pull them in just a little bit and get them all blended out. You saw that I came back with my lightest color already, and I burnished a lot of those colors out, and I was still able to come back with that other color and add it right in there. But look how pretty that is. Okay, let me go see if I can go ahead and complete this one, and I'm going to speed this up to music as I do this. There's our Castle Art leaf. I absolutely love that. They performed really, really nicely. The colors blended together beautifully. I was able to get quite a few layers down there. I could still come back and continue to add layers. It allowed me to come back with that Indian red and layer that color right over the top of that darkest color, which was the oxide of chrome. But they perform beautifully in the Amazon printed books. So you saw also previously, even after I came back and I burnished and blended all the colors together with my lightest color here, I was still able to come back and add that red in there. So those are really amazing pencils. They performed really, really nicely on this paper. So I think the next ones we're going to test are going to be the Kalour 240 set. So for this one as well, I chose some really pretty greens, and I don't have a swatch for these. So I'm going to go ahead and take this scrap sheet of paper. You can see that I've been using this to test out a whole lot of colors, but I'm going to show you exactly what these colors look like. This one is bottle green, this one is metallic grass green, and then cadmium yellow. So here's my darkest color, and then my mid-tone, and then my lightest color. I thought that would give it a really cool pop. And then I grabbed these two very orange colors, and we're gonna see if these two will lay down right on top of those other colors. But this one was warm yellow, and then I also have this one that is more of an orange, which is pumpkin yellow. I think I'm gonna use this leaf down here. I'm gonna start by laying down my lightest color. I was just going to do sections of the leaves and put the colors right next to one another so y'all can see them up close and how they perform, but for some reason I can't leave unfinished leaves. Okay, so now I have the metallic grass green, and look how that color is blending right into the other color. Look how pretty those colors are together. There's so many greens in this Kalour 240 set. So many. And these colors are blending together beautifully. Oh, I think I forgot that little section of the leaf down there. This is going to be really difficult because I already know that these three sets work really nicely in these Amazon books. So we're going to see which one is the absolute best. But this is bottle green, and we're going to come in here and add some of this color. And again, it's layering right over that other color beautifully. And a lot of you have asked me if these pencils are wax-based or oil-based. It does say on Amazon that they are wax-based pencils. So I just wanted to mention that. Now I'm going to come back to my lightest color. Let's see how the colors blend into one another. I'm pulling it up just a little bit more over here. And they're blending out really nicely. Already I'm thinking that the Castle Arts laid down just a little bit better. Before I say that for sure though, let's get some more color down here, because a lot of these budget sets, like most colored pencil sets, perform much better once you get quite a bit of the color down on the paper, as long as the paper doesn't start to get resistant. The key is here to not use very heavy pressure when you're laying your colors down. Otherwise, you will use all of the tooth in the paper, especially on this paper, and not be able to lay any more of that color down. Now I have the bottle green, my darkest color, and let's see how dark we could get this to create all that extra added depth and dimension here. And you can see that the color is blending in right to the other colors really nicely. And I can't wait to see what happens when we come back and try to add that orange in here. Look how that color just continues to lay down. And the best thing about this set is if you're somebody who loves to have all the colors, with 240 colors, you're definitely getting a lot of colors to choose from. But I haven't swatched these out yet, and so many of you have asked me to put these in color family order, and I can't even imagine. There's just so many pencils. Now I'm trying to use my mid-tone to blend some of these colors out just a little bit more, and they're blending together very, very nicely. And with the Castle Arts, I did have a little bit of crumbs, and with these, I'm having a little bit of crumbs as well. But that's okay. I don't ever mind the crumbs. Now, if a pencil is super, super crumbly, you do have to be careful that you don't get the color on the outside to where it ends up getting like into here on the background of your coloring pages. And for that, I usually just grab a brush and I brush them right out of the way. Now let's come back with the lightest color and see if we can blend this color right in here. And look how that color is just laying right down. Now with the Castle Arts, once you lay them down on the paper, the color does go right down, and the same for these. Let's come over here and see how much more depth and dimension we can get with these. And I'm thinking that I was able to get quite a bit more depth and dimension with the Castle Arts. Maybe it's the fact that I need a little bit of a darker color, but I think we're probably okay. Let me see how much more I can get down here. I actually think that these may be maxed out with layers. I'm going to try to zoom this in as much as I can when I edit this video so that y'all can see how much more of this color is actually laying down onto the paper, but I feel like I was able to get more color down on the paper with the Castle Arts. And I feel like these are coming to an end now. I don't know how many layers I've laid down here, but I know I was working on that Castle Art one for quite a while as well. I mean, the colors are very blendable on this set and they're blending together beautifully. Hopefully you can see how the pencils perform or be able to tell just by watching. But you can see that that color is smoothing out really, really nicely into that highlight color. And I'm going to come back one more time with my highlight color, and I'm going to try to burnish all these colors out now. And look, the color is still going down and it's really smoothing those colors out beautifully. And the real test is going to be when we come back here in a minute. And we grab those shades of orange and see if we can blend them right into some of these other colors. I just look over here at this one and I'm like, oh my gosh, that one's so gorgeous. It's just popping so much more than this one is. And it may be the colors that I chose, but I wanted to do colors a little bit different. I wanted to stick with the more olivey greens on this one and then use different shades of oranges over here since I used red on this one. So now we're going to come back with our orange, and I think this one's like a yellowish orange. So these are what the colors look like when they just stand alone. And I'm going to come in here and see if I could just lay this right over the top, see if it's going to work. Oh, it is. Look at that. It's laying over the green and laying over the yellowish green or whatever was our highlight color. So the paper is still taking layers, but I think it's probably working a little bit better. Let's try to get a little bit down here and see if it works. Okay, so it's not really that noticeable down there, but it is laying down. But when I come up here where I had less layers, it is blending a lot better, but that is so pretty. Oh my goodness. Let's add a little bit right up in here. And then let's see if we can lay some of this color down too. Oh my goodness, that is just so pretty. Do you all see how it just changes up your leaves so much when you come in and just add other colors to it? And you can see even with these budget sets that you can come in and lay down more color right on top. This one might be too light. It is laying down just a little bit over here, but I think we need the darker one. Actually, that's really pretty, the blend of those two colors. Let's put a little bit of this down here. Okay, so that's really different. Really, really different. But if I had to say which one out of these two did perform better, or which one I liked how it performed better, I would have to go with the Castle Arts. If you look at the two right up against one another, you can tell that the Castle Arts have a lot more depth and dimension. And if you go back and you look at the part of the video where I was at the same place on both of these, where I laid just the greens down on this one and just the greens down on this one, I think this one still had a lot more depth and dimension. And I tried to pick the same values of colors. They are different undertones as far as the greens go. I tried to stay within the same values of the colors, and you can see that sheet that I did swatch them all out to make sure that this was totally fair. But looking at these, I just love that leaf so much more, and I love how the colors lay down so much more. This one, I'm pretty much done as far as layers, and this one here, I could still come back and add more color if I wanted to. If I wanted to add some orange to that leaf, I could probably do that and come back and add a little bit of orange to that leaf too. How about if we actually try that? I have an orange here. It's cadmium orange, and let's see if this works. And look, that color is still laying down. Oh, how cool. Look at that. The color is still laying down right where that red is. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but if I pull it a little bit up into the areas where I had the yellow, it is still laying down onto the paper. Wow. I have another one. This is called Golden Yellow Deep, and this one pops a whole lot. So let's see what happens here when I come in with this color. Wow. So yeah, even the lighter color is laying right over the top. That's just crazy to me. And it's layering right over all of those darker colors. Even that bright, bright yellow just laid right down over those darker colors. Now it's time to test the Brutfuner 120 set. Okay, so I do have my swatch chart for this one. I did put all of these in color family order. If you've not yet seen that video, I'll link that in the upper right hand corner. This swatch chart is actually available also in my Facebook group. If you're not a member of my Facebook group, you can put in a request to join and you will find this blank swatch chart in the files section. So the colors I'm using for this next leaf are 116, 115, and 48. So here is 048, and then 116 and 115. And then the color that I'm using to come back and test to see if we can lay over these colors is going to be 024. And 024 is right here. It's sort of like a reddish brown, but it's more on the brown side. There's not a whole lot of red in there. So that's going to be really interesting to see if that color will layer right over the top of the other greens once I get them down there. I wanted to use different colors. So for this one, I used a brown. This one, I used a red. And of course, we came back with the yellow and the orange. And then here I used orange. So let's go ahead and do this last leaf here. Now I could already feel a huge difference in these. When I initially lay the color down, it's much smoother and much softer. These are an oil-based pencil. The Castle Arts and the Kalour 240, those are both wax-based pencils. But this color is blending right into the previous color and it's laying down really, really nicely. And these are blending without any effort at all. But I just thought that these colors would be really super cool. And there's so many unique colors in this Brutfuner square set. I absolutely love them. If you're looking for a set or a budget set that has unique colors, this set is fabulous. And a lot of times you can buy this set for right around $25 for 120 pencils. So it's a really great deal. Now I've got my darkest color. This is 048. And we're going to start adding some of this color in. I might need a color that is just a little bit darker. I don't know. Let's get a few layers down here and see. But I'm just going in a circular motion trying to get a really good blend here with these colors. And they are going down really nicely. And look how that color just continues to layer. You see how much darker that's getting now that I've got some of the color down on the paper. So I did just have to sharpen my pencil, and what I have noticed about these pencils is that I do lose my sharp lead on these pencils rather quickly. Now I think I'm on maybe my third layer, and the color is still going down, applying over the other colors, blending together very, very nicely. Okay, so now I'm coming back with my mid-tone, and we're going to start to pull some of these colors together, and we should see a big difference here now. I'm wondering if maybe I should have chose a yellow for the highlight to give this just a little bit more of a pop. So now I have my lightest color, and I'm going to start blending a lot of these colors together, and they are blending out really nicely. The paper is still taking layers. I still have a whole lot of the way to the paper left, but I am thinking that I want to add a little bit of a pop of yellow here. So I have this color I'm using here, and I'm wondering how it would look if I just add a little bit of this 066. So I'm going to grab that one. Okay, let's see what happens once I add a little bit of this color and if it's going to layer right over those other colors. Oh yes, it does give it a little bit more of a pop. And it's really helping to blend a lot of those colors out as well. Okay, so I wanted a little bit more yellow, so I grabbed 002. This one is more of a true yellow, and I think this is going to make a huge difference, and it does. Oh, that's a pretty color. And let's see if we can come back with the darkest of the greens and add this right in here. And it is still layering right over those other colors. So these are laying down really nicely as well. Let me try to come back with this yellow. This one is the 022, and let's blend some of these colors out just one more time. because I do still see quite a bit of the white of the paper. And I did use the white of the paper here in a couple spaces. You all know how much I like to do that. Okay, so now it's time for the real test. We are going to come back with this brown color that I chose. It is 024, and I'm going to come in here and see if I could lay, oh yes. And this is going to make a huge difference for this leaf. Oh, that is so pretty. Look at that. It just lays right over the top of the darkest color that I had chosen. Let's lay a little bit right over here. Oh, that is so pretty. That just really changed our whole entire leaf here. And the color is still laying down right on top of those other colors. Oh my goodness. So at first I was not really liking the way this one was looking, but now I love it. And see, that just goes to show y'all, even after you have a plan for something that you're coloring and you think that's what you're gonna go with, you can change it up, come back and do other things, lay other colors right over the top, and it completely changes the way any object on your coloring page looks. But the colors are still laying down. And we've got some really pretty fall leaves right in the middle of the season transition when the leaves just start changing colors. I just thought that would be a cool little added twist to this video. Because I've been trying to keep all my videos this time of the year fall themed in some way. I thought that would be really fun. Oh, I love how this just totally changed it up. Let's come back and blend some of that color out just a little. Yeah, these are still laying down. I could even get this darker green to lay down even more up in this area here, and it's pulling that brown through. There's our leaves. And my final thoughts as far as these pencils and the way that they perform, I am going to put them in order from the best, and then the second best, and then the last best. The one that I think performed the absolute best and looks the most beautiful is my Kalour leaf. It just seems to me to have so much more depth and dimension. I really, really love it. And then we all know that everybody loves the Brutfuner 120 set. They are a really good budget-friendly set, and you can get this set for a lot cheaper than you can probably get the Kalour. But I would say that these came in second, and then the Kalour 240, those came in third. But they're all wonderful pencils. They all perform really nicely on the Amazon printed books. If you're looking for unique colors and you want some very different colors than what you're going to get with the Kalour, I would go with the Brutfuner 120 set, because there's some really unique colors in that set that you're not going to get with another budget-friendly colored pencil set. I think that it probably has some of the most unique colors out of any of the budget sets out there. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful in helping you to decide which budget set you want to go with for your Amazon printed books. Now, a lot of people have asked me how you know if it is an Amazon printed book. If you go to the back of the book, these books are actually printed on demand. And so when you order them, Amazon prints them. So it says down here, made in the USA, Columbia, South Carolina, on September 16th, 2019. So I got this book back in 2019. I've had it for quite a while. So you can tell exactly where the book was printed and the date that the book was printed. All of the Jade Summer books, the Hannah Lynn books, the Deborah Moeller books, I think the Coco Wyo books that a lot of people are going crazy over right now and absolutely loves. I think some of those are the best sellers on Amazon, but those are just a few of the ones that are Amazon printed. And I'm not sure Coco Wyo has an Etsy shop, but I think that they are really coming up there with one of the most popular. There's also Coloring Book Cafe. Their books are Amazon printed as well. There are quite a few artists or companies that do only have the option of printing their books through Amazon, and that is one of the ways that we could support these artists so they can continue to bring us this beautiful artwork. If you want to just pick up one budget set and you want a really good value colored pencil set that is going to perform really well, and you just want to pick up one of these books to color in, you can totally do that for super cheap and be able to enjoy this wonderful hobby. Everything you've seen me use in this video will be linked in the description box below. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Happy coloring. Bye.